What's going on, everybody? We're back. I know it's been a while, but we're back with the FrEEK Show. And we have got our own spooky stories to tell you. I'm Munk, that's Moose. And, we ready to just jump right into it?
I guess.
Or first, should we apologize for being away for so long?
Yeah, I feel like I should personally apologize because most of it has been my fault. I do apologize. I just got put on as full-time at work. Uh, Con season has started back up. Um, Princess party stuff has started back up. My life has been non-stop, one thing after another. And that has led to me either being mentally and physically exhausted or just me not having time to really do much. So I apologize because most of us not filming and pretty much all of us not filming is my fault, and I'm so sorry.
It's alright. I've also filmed a few other videos that I never posted, so yeah, we do apologize. But we are back. And we are ready to do this. Are you ready to do this?
I'm here.
Alright, so last time we told you guys that we were going to go and tell you our own spooky experiences. So that's what we are going to do. And Moose, you go ahead and you go first.
All right. So, I don't know how many people, like, from my life watch these videos, but I will say that, to preface this, I have moved around a lot, and it was a lot more often when I was, like, a younger kid. So through, like, elementary, middle, high school, we moved around a lot. One of the places that I lived for a couple months was Tulsa, Oklahoma, and
Oklahoma. Sorry.
well, when we moved to Oklahoma, we rented a house, and it was 2 stories. And I will try to like draw up a layout so that you can put it up on the screen so that people can see kind of what I'm talking about. Um, so we had 2 floors, and on the bottom floor was um, like the main door, and then a foyer, kind of little hallway area. My parents' bedroom, the main living room, the kitchen and dining room, and then there was a family room. Um, and then you went up the stairs, which were sectioned off between the family room and the main living area. And up the stairs was my sister's bedroom. And then down a very long hall was the bathroom, my bedroom, and the spare bedroom. Um, I was, shit, I don't remember how old I was. I'll figure it out. But circa this era, um, I was young. Uh, when we moved into this house, we kind of knew that it wasn't going to be a permanent thing, um, just because we did move around so much. But we made it as comfortable and as homey as we could. Um, and during the winter, it would get super duper cold. Um, so we would be allowed to sleep downstairs in the family room that had a pull-out sofa. So my sister and I would sleep on the pull-out sofa, and we would turn up the heat a little bit more downstairs so that we wouldn't have the heat going full blast up and downstairs. If you have ever been to the South or, even heard anything about the South, you know that summers are hot.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Uh,
just moved to the South last year, and this heat is.
yeah,
Ugh.
like real spicy hot. Um, and upstairs, the guest bedroom, no matter what time of year it was always freezing, like way colder than it should have been in the dead of summer. Um, the spare bedroom in the closet had a space that was like a crawl space that went into a very short attic. Like, I don't know, it was maybe 2.5, 3 feet tall. Um, and we kept the closet door closed at all times. Nobody stayed in that guest room unless, somebody was coming in for a long period of time and we were like, yeah, we need to have room for them. Normally it was like grandparents or, if extended family happened to come down, which was rare. And I remember that room always just being very uncomfortable to even be around. Like, I would refuse to go in there by myself. And pretty much me, Mom, and Ashley did not want to go up there and like be in that room by ourselves. The only time we really went in there was to vacuum, to make sure that everything was dusted, to kind of, keep everything clean. And I remember you could go in there and you could vacuum and you could fix the sheets on the bed and you could have everything nice. And we had a heater on there pretty much constantly because of how cold it was. And, using a heater in the dead of winter or in the dead of summer in Oklahoma, you would be like normally sweltering hot, and it was still way cold in there. So it didn't matter if, you made sure all the bed sheets were nice and straight, and the floors, when we vacuum, even to this day, we do the thing where you get straight lines in the carpet.
I used to work for a cleaning company, so we had to do that on a regular basis.
So you could do that, close the door, and 30 minutes later go in, and it looked like someone had been on the bed, and the lines in the carpet were messed up with footprints. We would constantly hear people running around upstairs when we were all downstairs. Mom constantly heard stuff. I constantly heard stuff. And the first genuinely horrifying experience that I had coming into contact with the paranormal, it's gonna sound like this is very cliched, and I didn't even know about this phenomena until a few years ago. I think 2 years ago. It's a tall shadow man in a black hat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a big thing.
I didn't know about that until like 2 years ago. I would see that at my door frame. And then it would be at the bottom of the bed. And just stand there. And I was young, and of course this was like horrifying.
Yeah.
Like, it would be right now. But I had never experienced anything like it. And just...
And this happened on a regular basis?
Yeah. So I remember the first time I like freaked out, and I told Mom, and she was like, it's okay, you were probably having a nightmare. And it happened so consistently that I could pretty much pinpoint that it would happen at least 3 or 4 times a week. And it just, that room always gave me bad vibes, and my room was right next to it. And just something about the top level of that house was very off. And one night, I woke up to see someone coming out of the bathroom, which was right across from my room. I used to sleep with my door open. Not anymore.
I'm the same way.
I used to sleep with the door open, so I saw somebody that looked like my grandfather come out of the bathroom and go into the guest bedroom. And I thought it was weird, because I was like, why did no one tell me they were coming down? Like, was this supposed to be a surprise? And I was kind of like confused. So I woke up the next morning, looked in there, and nobody was in there, and it didn't look like anybody had stayed the night in there. And I went downstairs and I looked at Mom and I said, why didn't Mama and Papa leave already? And she said, they weren't here. And I was like, yeah, I just saw him last night coming out of the bathroom and going into the spare bedroom they stay in. And she was like, no, you didn't.
You must have had a nightmare.
Yeah, that
You
that
must
kind of
have
thing
just
used
been
to freak me out.
dreaming.
It used to freak me out so bad. And like our animals would always act weird. Our cat was very skittish. So yeah, that was a weird house. And when we moved out, Mom actually talked to the guy who owned it that we were renting from, and she was like, not trying to like lead anything, but she was kind of like, has anything weird ever happened in this house? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, what kind of stuff? He was like, well, things would be moved, go missing. And that was a consistent thing with us too. We would never be able to find stuff, and it would like, we would be like, we left this here. So we would never be able to find stuff. And he was like, I have 2 little girls. Weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our family had 2 little girls. His family had 2 little girls. He said, I was in the bedroom and I heard what I thought was the TV in what was considered our family room, where my sister and I felt most comfortable staying, mind you. He said, I thought I heard the TV. So I went in there, and as soon as I got to where I could round the corner to tell them it was time to go to bed, everything stopped. He said there was no noise, the TV was not on. I ran upstairs, checked on them, they were in bed. He said, and that was a consistent thing. We would hear footsteps upstairs, we would hear weird noises, people talking, and like occasionally see stuff, but it was never anything that was like a solid, yeah, there's like something that's there. He said that that was a pretty common thing. So that kind of solidified the fact that we were experiencing something that was definitely not normal.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a... Yeah.
So that was kind of like my first genuine run-in with stuff that I remember, anyways, with like the paranormal.
So, nice. I like it. Alright, I suppose that's my turn.
Yes.
Okay, this is not my first experience with anything. I used to have like experiences when I was a little kid, kind of like how you had in that place, with like shadows and shadow figures and stuff. But this is one of my first big paranormal things. So, back in high school, my one friend, he would often have to watch his little brother during the summer. And I was one of the few people that was allowed inside the house, or, well, inside the apartment when both of the parents were, like, at work and they weren't home. His little brother was a bit of a pain in the ass. And we used to like to torment him whenever he started being a pain in the ass. We would purposely do things to try and make him cry. I know it sounds like being a dick, but he was being a dick first. Like, he wouldn't be behaving or listening or doing anything that we told him to do or that he needed to do. So we would do things like stick the cat in the microwave and say we're going to turn it on. We never did. He did put the cat in the microwave, but I took the cat out before anything got turned on. Yeah, that made his little brother cry. Okay?
That's so dark.
I know. Like I said, I feel like a dick sometimes whenever I tell this story. So there was one time when he was acting up, and so we decided to scare him. And he was afraid of this one movie case for a movie called May. And I'm going to send you the picture.
Is this going to give me nightmares? Because I'm going to punch you in the throat. Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was the movie cover. And
That's uncomfortable.
we knew that he was frightened of it. So we started being like, oh yeah, Colin May's coming to get you. Oh, she wants to be your girlfriend, Colin. Ooh. And started like he started freaking out, and so like I was just like, okay, we'll stop. And I go and I put it back on top of the stack of DVDs, and I'm like, all right, we're done. We won't do it again. All of a sudden, the movie comes flying off of the stack at us. The TV turns on. All the radios in the house turn on. All the alarm clocks are going off. Yeah, like everything all of a sudden went off. And like his little brother just started screaming. We grabbed him and like ran out of the house. We were like, nope. We noped the fuck out of there.
I hate that for you.
I like that story because yes, it is insane. It sounds like something out of a fucking horror movie. But at the same time, it's like the instant karma that got us. It was just so much fun. And by the way, to everyone watching at home, these are real stories of things that we actually experienced. You're more than welcome to believe it or not. I know that my story sounds completely unbelievable. A movie flying across the room at us and all the electronics turning on. I know it sounds like bullshit. But that's what happened. You can take it or leave it.
Jesus.
Uh-huh. Me and him had a lot of weird shit. Actually, I heard a story from his mom and his stepdad, who his stepdad was a total skeptic. In their previous house, it used to be a mortician's house. And I guess it also used to be, like, the land that it was built on used to be part of the nearby cemetery. It's like, they were digging for fences, and they found gravestones in the backyard. Yeah. I heard a story once about when he was a little kid. It was Thanksgiving, and all of a sudden, the big carving knife went flying off the counter and landed like a foot away from him. Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, we had a lot of weird shit happen.
Oh, that's uncomfortable.
How do you think we feel? He doesn't like talking about this stuff to this day anymore.
That's
and we
fair.
used to do crazy ass shit. Like, I never did it, but he used to go and play hide and seek in the cemetery in the middle of the night. I never did it, but
It's how white people die in horror movies.
yeah, we did a lot of things of how white people die in horror movies, and we knew that that's how white people died in horror movies. We watch horror movies. We love horror movies, but anytime something happened, we're like, I don't know. Should we do this? I don't know. It's how white people die. You're like, that's a good point. Let's start doing it and see what happens.
Jesus.
Yep.
So are we going for one more round of stories?
We can go for another round if you want.
Okay. Let me see what time it is. It's 9:09. That's not bad. I guess we'll go for another round. Hot damn.
Not what you were expecting?
No.
See, I had experiences like how you had at that house.
Yeah.
Like, I used to have, like, growing up, like, we would have, like, 2-bedroom apartments. Both my sisters shared a room, and my parents took a room. I slept in the living room. And I would often see shadows, like, peeking around the corner. Or we lived on the second floor, right? And I saw shadow figures moving all across the fucking windows. No place for them to stand. No place. My parents just blamed it on Goosebumps. I wasn't allowed to watch Goosebumps, but I watched Goosebumps.
Love that.
Yep. All right. Let's hear your next story.
Oh God. So first of all, I am gonna say that we did have a reading done on this house. My friend and I did a reading on it, an energy reading. And she said that there is definitely something here that is not happy. And I saged up here the other day, and it got really pissed off, and it started like moving shit around in my room. Yeah. So that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
It does not like me. It whatever it is does not like me.
I get that a lot. Whenever there's like spirits or whatever, they don't like me either. Maybe because I'm hyper aware, or I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So on to the next one. Yay. Um, I guess okay. So this is one of my most like intense experiences, I guess. Um, and it was definitely like kind of brought this on myself because we were in New Orleans, and I was like, I want to go
Oh,
on a ghost
of
tour.
course you did.
Shut up. I was 19 at the time, 19 or 20. I think I was 19. Um, and we like when we lived in Texas, we used to go to New Orleans all the time. And I was like, I want to go on a ghost tour. Great. Yeah, that was a poor idea.
I always wanted to go on ghost tours, but I never got a chance to.
They're fun. They're fun. To an extent.
There, back in Chicago, there was this one guy who was like the go-to person for anything haunted in Chicago. Like he did like year-round ghost hunts and stuff like that, and he would often go to like libraries like around Halloween time to talk about stuff. It was like really expensive to do it though. Like I always wanted to, but
Yeah.
I actually like checked in on some of his work when I was like researching the Resurrection Mary stuff. Yeah, go on. I'm
So
sorry.
you're fine. But we so when I was younger and we used to live in Louisiana, I always was like, I want to go on a ghost tour, and then I would end up getting too scared. Um, but the older I got, the more in tune with like the paranormal stuff that I got, the more in tune with like communicating with spirits and stuff that I got, and I was like, this is a good idea.
Can I bring a Ouija board with me?
It's fucking stupid. Um, I was walking, and it was just me and mom and dad, and we were making our way through, and we would be taking pictures and stuff, and they were like, oh, you can see people sitting at this table, like there's really famous restaurants and stuff, and they're like, this is, this specific area is really haunted by this and this and this. And we would take pictures, and when I would take pictures, we would get something in every single picture. Mom would get like every second or third picture there would be something that was a little weird in it. Every single picture I took had something in it, and I was like, great. Not happy about that. Um,
Do you still have some of those pictures? Let's see some of them.
I don't.
Oh.
Uh, we actually, so there's a reason we don't have any of the pictures, and you'll hear that at the end.
Oh.
Uh, we get to this one place that was, at one point, a pirate bar. Uh, and anyone who knows New Orleans really well probably knows this bar. Basically, there are a ton of stories, and it's like they would shove people's faces in the fire, and there's like a huge fire pit, and if you take pictures of it, you can see faces sometimes. And if you go back in the like, so there's two entrances, I think there's two entrances. Um, this side is a lot less hectic than this side. So we entered this way. The fireplace is in the middle, sort of, and then you go around and you can get back to the bar. Right before the bathrooms, there is a little corner where there was a really violent murder, and like there were a lot of violent deaths in this place, and there was a lot of like really screwed up stuff that happened. And we went in, and I was like, okay, we'll go in here, we'll take a couple of pictures, everything will be chill. I went in with the camera. Well, mom's phone. It was mom's phone. So I'm taking pictures of the fireplace, and I was like, ah, da, 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 da. And we get to the other side, and I was just filled with rage. And it came out of nowhere. And I looked at mom, and I was like, we have to go. And she was like, come on, let's just take a couple of pictures. I took a couple of pictures, and I was like, okay, it's time to go. She was like, just chill, everything's fine. And I was so genuinely like pissed off, and I don't know where this came from. Like, this was not me. Like, I was not feeling my own emotions at that point. There was something deep inside of me that was like, I don't like that you're in here. Get out. So I like got really aggressive towards mom, and I was like, we're leaving now. This is not an option. We're going. As soon as we stepped out of the bar, everything in me just rushed out, and I felt like I had just been trampled. I was so exhausted mentally and physically that I looked at mom and I was like, what just happened? We get to, sorry, like it really,
No, that's okay.
I have never forgotten the pictures that I took in that place. We started going through them, and the fireplace, like, you could obviously see faces. And it was not just like faces, it was contorted in pain and screaming and like horrifying faces. And you would get glares off of certain areas. There were no lights there for there to be glares off of. And when we got to the pictures of over in the corner where that really violent death had happened, I literally zoomed in on that corner, screamed, and shoved the phone at my mom. I don't know how else to explain it other than demonic. It looked like it wanted to absolutely just end me. And the further that we looked through those pictures throughout the next day that we were there, we were in the hotel and we were looking through them, there were more and more of those faces popping up around it.
Kind of like an Insidious type of situation.
Yes. But there would be more and more of those faces, like, that we would see around it that we hadn't seen because we were so focused on this one. And I think about an hour into looking at the pictures the next morning, we deleted every single one of them because that one messed me up so bad. I was not okay for months after that trip. I had nightmares. This is about to get a little graphic, so like, nobody listen if you're like easily triggered or like really bothered by this kind of stuff. I would have nightmares, and like I ended up sleeping on the couch. I didn't even sleep in my room for a month. I slept on the couch in the living room. I would have nightmares that I was strapped like this to a chair and somebody was taking razor blades and going up and like carving designs in my arms.
What the shit?
And I would wake up screaming. So like that was for a month after that. And I, like, every few years or so will have a nightmare containing that face in it, and it wakes me up so violently that I'm sick.
You still have nightmares with that face?
Yes.
Jesus.
This is 5 years later. Yeah.
Oof.
So we don't have those pictures anymore. Um,
Understandably so.
the most of the pictures from that trip were from that night, and we got rid of those. So yeah.
Damn. All right. Would you rather hear? I have two options here. I can either tell the story about the haunted house. Well, stories. There's multiple stories about this place. Um, or would you like to hear about the last time I fucked with a Ouija board?
Oh, let's hear that.
Oh, you want to hear
Before this
that?
is how white people die in horror
This
movies.
is. Oh, you have no fucking idea unless I've told you this story before. Um, so, me and some of my friends were on a road trip. We went to go visit one of, like, somebody else's friend. And while we were there, somebody got the bright idea of we should play a fucking Ouija board. The one girl was a Wiccan, mind you. Um, but I was just like, that sounds like a horrible idea, because I used to own a Ouija board. I had weird shit happen all the fucking time. I was just like, that sounds like a horrible idea.
Listen,
And we
I
don't even,
currently
we, we were just like, we don't even have a Ouija board. How the fuck are we going to do that? So somehow, between a collective mind of like 6 people, we decided to use the back of a mirror. Yeah. We made a Ouija board on the back of a mirror. That is a very bad idea for anyone who's listening to watching this that doesn't fucking know. Mirrors are like, what would you say? Like, how would you describe like mirrors as far as the paranormal stuff goes? Like a gateway
um
almost?
yes, mirrors are considered a gateway. That is why when somebody dies, you're supposed to cover mirrors so that
Cover up
their
the
soul doesn't
mirrors.
get trapped.
So,
Oh my god, I can't believe you. Oh no.
oh yeah, oh yeah, and we're using um a shot glass as the freaking thing, you know. And we had candles lit all around the room, and on the mirror, and the lights off. And it wasn't responding for 3 of the people. 2 of the people because they were on meth, as I later found out. And they just were not taking it seriously. The other guy, he refused to touch it, so it ended up being me, the Wiccan, and this other kid. Right? And we are the only 3 people that it worked for. And it had to be that combination too. And so we're doing it and stuff and asking questions, and I think it started getting a little bit violent, or I started calling it out for being a fucking liar. I have no respect when it comes to Ouija boards. I don't. I call shit out all the fucking time. And like as we kept going with it, the one guy, his face all of a sudden started getting really pale. Like, so pale that we noticed a color differentiation in candlelight. And he was, like, feeling kind of wobbly and stuff. And I was just like, I think we should... Like, we came up with this conclusion that it must be using him as a battery. To which, when we said that out loud, the Ouija board shot to yes. And I was just like, okay, that's it. We're ending this now. And then it went to no. And I was just like, yes, we're done here. Goodbye. I went and moved it over to goodbye. The second I hit goodbye, all the lights, like all the candles blew out in the entire room. And you could just hear pounding and scratching all over the walls. And they did not stop until like somebody managed to find the light switch and turn on the light. Afterwards, we decided to go outside and have a cigarette. A smokers. And we were in the middle of nowhere, and all throughout the trees surrounding the house, we could see shadow figures like popping like in and out all around us. It was the freakiest fucking thing ever. Fast forward 2 weeks later. We find out from the girl whose house we're at, the mirror all of a sudden just shattered. All on its own. Like, after we were done, we put it back up on the thing and whatnot, and of course it still had the lettering and stuff because we wrote it in fucking Sharpie like idiots. And 2 weeks later, the mirror just shattered all on its own. Yep. What?
I hate that. Y'all definitely
Fucked with something that we shouldn't have. Yeah, we know. Oh, we know. The one guy, he was worried, and he was just like, is this shit gonna follow me everywhere I go? And we're just...
Yes!
No, it didn't. It stayed in that fucking house and fucking fucked with the people that lived there. But we lived a whole entire state away, like 3 states away. We were like, nothing's gonna follow us over here. It's gonna stay with that fucking freaky ass mirror. Yep. This was about, shit, almost 10 years ago. If not 10 years ago. Wow. It's been like 10, 11 years now. Holy shit.
I hate that, and I hate that you did that knowing.
Oh, I knew it was a bad idea. We all knew it was a bad idea, but we were drinking. I know. Another reason not to do it. And that was the last time that I have ever touched a Ouija board, and the last time I ever will.
Yeah, last time I touched a Ouija, just touched one, was in the antique store at one of the conventions that I went to. We were in an antique store, and I bent down and I went to touch it, and we were using necrophonic, and it went, stop, and I went, sorry, and it went, no,
Wait.
You're not, and I said,
You were using what?
necrophonic. So, like,
What is that, like a
not
spirit box app or something?
Yes. Yes. So, not a sponsor. Obviously, I'm plugging like this app because I use it. And I've gotten like genuinely intelligent responses from it. Oh my God, every time I use it, I hear the same spirit. The same spirit.
See,
and it is
that,
a wailing woman.
that honestly happens to me every single time I touch a Ouija board. It's always the same fucking spirit, which is why I always end up talking shit to it. I don't like this spirit. It doesn't like me. We talk shit to each other. That's what we do. But every single time, it doesn't matter who I'm playing it with. I could be playing it with like a complete group of people that doesn't even know like about it. Like that's actually what happened with the time with the mirror, was that it started making itself known, and the second it said what its name was, I was just like, no. And everybody else was just like, what? And I'm like, this thing follows me. Every single time I touch a Ouija board, the same spirit comes out. I never tell anybody what the name is, just in case I end up like playing it with them at some point. And every single time, that same spirit comes out. I don't even like saying its name, to be honest.
That's fair. But yeah, I highly recommend, if you like, you do have to pay for it. It is a paid app.
Is it a one time?
Yeah, you just
Okay.
pay for it once. It is one of the most like whatever.
I might have to look at that.
I use it a lot.
A little bit of a surprise here for everybody, including you. I'm actually working on a special spooky project. It should be done hopefully by the end of the month. I might be able to use that. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
That terrifies me. Don't know how I feel about that.
Why? It's fine. It's fine.
You obviously know how white people die in horror movies and do it anyways.
Yeah. I'm not gonna die though. I'm white, but I'm not that white.
You back that up and try it again.
Anyway, thank you everybody for watching this episode of the Freak Show. We're going to get back into the habit of making more of these, right?
Right. Actually, I can't record next week because I'm going to Disney and Universal on Halloween Horror Nights. So maybe I'll do a vlog style thing and take some videos of the streets and all that. I can't video inside the houses, but I can definitely video the streets and let people know what I think about that and kind of give a little rundown of Halloween
You can
Horror
totally do that. But we're going to get back into the habit of making videos again. And
Yes.
like I said, have a spooky project that should be coming out by the end of next month. Should be fucking great. You look worried. Don't be worried. It's fine. Anyway, see you guys next time. Stay spooky.